Hi, thanks very much for joining me again. Now, today's video is going to be about the Rollester pen, but before I start, for those that follow us on YouTube, this will make sense. If you just looked up this video on the website, it might not, but those that follow us will know it's been a while since we've done any videos, or I've done any videos. There's a good reason for that. The main one being is that the business has completely relocated to new premises. That was last year, and we had problems with solicitors, planning departments, and big business utility businesses. God, they don't often make life unnecessarily difficult, but Britain doesn't run without a bit of bureaucracy. So once that was over and Christmas is over, I've come back into the workshop, which I have to say, for a long period of time last year, had a leaking roof. It was dark and dismal. The roof has been rebuilt. You might just be able to catch sight of a window above me, so hopefully we've got some light and you'll be able to see what I'm doing today. So all that aside, what we're going to look at today is the Rollester pen kit, because it has had a little bit of an upgrade stroke change. The tube size is the same, the bushings are the same, so if you've got those, that's no problem at all. The main change that we've got on this one is the fact that it's no longer a pull off and push on cap. It's now a screw on, because we just thought, and the reactions we got from the people that tested it, because it's not just our opinion, was that the twist cap was just a little bit nicer. It fitted nicer. It's just a little bit nicer to handle rather than a click on and off. Let's have a look at what's in the kit. So I'll point the camera down here, which is where it will stay for the duration. I've got some little bits of Costa Rican teak that I quite like the look of. We do sell them, so I just thought I'd try this on a full-size pen. I've fiddled around with it a bit before, but let's have a look at the kit anyway. I've got a couple of the Costa Rican teak blanks that I just mentioned, and here is the kit. So we'll take it out and have a look at the parts inside. My apologies for the rustling, but that can't be avoided with little plastic packages which are all there to protect. They do come together, those, in a pack, the pocket clip and the end cap, like so. A Schmidt refill, there's the tube, the nib section here, like so, and the, I have to say, slightly unusual cap, which now, as I said before, actually screws on to the front there, and we just felt that was a little bit nicer than the old click one. So those are the parts that we're going to use. I'm going to cut my blank, mount it into the chuck, and we're going to make the pen up. I'm starting off with a centre finder in my Jacob's chuck at this end, just to start a hole in the centre. Why do I do that? It just helps centre the drill. It does depend on what material and what wood you've got in here as to how hard it is and how different the grain is, but you can find, certainly with smaller drills, when you go in without a centre finder, the drill can start to just move slightly. So I use a centre finder to make sure it's centred right from the beginning, going at about 700-750 RPM. That little starter hole is going to make sure that when we drill through with a 9.5mm drill in a moment, that it goes through in the centre. I've now got a 9.5mm drill, which is the correct size for the Rollester kit, and I'm going to drill all the way through the blank. I've already cut this blank to roughly the right length, so I haven't got to drill too far, and the length of the blank is less than the length of the flute on the drill. That's not the case with all kits. Some you have to drill, remove, cool, whatever to do that. One of our other kits is like that, but this one will go straight through without any problem at all. About the same speed, about 750 RPM. I'm going to hold on to my Jacob's chuck for safety. I'm going to stop there and just let you look the fact that there is no movement, because I've had a starter hole. There's no movement in the drill, so I'm going absolutely dead straight. It's getting quite hot in there by the looks of it. So we're just going to withdraw that and let it cool for a little bit. Get rid of some of the scrap. Put that off there. While that's cooling, I'll just tell you that Costa Rican teak seems to be quite an oily wood. How do I know that? Well, because when we come to stick our little Prokraft labels on the blanks, they don't want to stick. So I'm going to be quite interested to see how this turns out. But anyway, let's move the drill up a little bit further, and we'll just finish off that drilling. I'm not sure whether you can see on there that the fibres here have expanded slightly. What happens when you drill woods, and every wood is different, is that when you drill a hole and withdraw it, what you're doing is releasing tension in the wood, and some of those fibres can actually expand out again. So you can start off, as an example, drilling an 8mm hole, but by the time you've taken the drill out and the fibres have all moved, you might have a 7.96mm hole. So sometimes it's advisable just to run the drill in and out several times to make sure that the hole you've got is A, straight, and B, it is actually the correct size. And you can tell that if you clear the drill, the flutes of the drill out and go backwards and forwards again, if it's taking more stuff out, then those fibres are released. That's an example. We've had some more come out of there, so having drilled my hole, I'm now going to glue my tube in. You can use whichever glue you like, and then I'm going to trim the ends flat. And again, there's a variety of ways you can do that, a whole variety of tools. Sometimes I have to say I even do it by eye. So I've taken the blank off, I've got my tube, and it's feeling just, it is going in straight, but it's feeling just a tiny little bit tight in there. So what I'm going to do, I mean, as you can see, it does go in and out, but it's quite tight and we need a little bit of hole for the glue. So I'm just going to, this is what I said, I'm just going to run that manually backwards and forwards on there, and you can see, hopefully, some of the fibres. Not sure whether the camera will quite pick that up. Let's have a, if I zoom that in a bit, when I've just run it over, you can see there's wood fibres on there. So even though I've drilled a 9.5mm hole, those fibres have expanded quite a lot, and I need to just clear out the inside of this blank a little bit more, but I can do that by hand. Let's try it again. I know that's off camera at the moment. Let's zoom back out again. I'm just going to keep just clear that out to make sure that we've got the right size, and there's still some fibres coming off. So a lot of people think you drill one hole, that's it, the job's finished. That isn't necessarily the case. It does indeed depend on the type of wood, because every single wood and every single piece of wood is absolutely unique, and that of course is why we love it. You will see that I've got my blank with my tube glued in and my bushings. I haven't got a mandrel on here. I might decide to use a mandrel later, I haven't quite decided, but I'm turning between centres here. So I've got a dead centre at this end and a live centre at this end. And the secret to do it this way, without a mandrel, which is fine, and I have to say I have a preference for doing it this way, but you must get the ends of your blank absolutely flush. If you don't, what will happen is that the bushing will go in at a slight angle and you'll get a wobble. You will see when I turn that and turn it on, hopefully you can see up here. Let's try and zoom it in a bit. I haven't got any movement of that bushing, it's not wavering at all. So that is really the key when you're turning between centres. So what I'm going to do now is get one of my tools that was previously rusty, a bit like the lathe because of the leaking roof and whatever, and we're going to turn this and then look at finishing it somehow. I've now finished the turning and polishing. I've just done a wax polish on this one. I'm going to show you how to assemble it. I was going to try CA because I found a new CA the other day. I have to confess, not having been in here for 6 months, I wasn't actually entirely sure which end of the lathe was which and whether I'd be able to do anything. The workshop has been that dark, leaky and dismal. I kind of lost my mojo of, for being in here, but it's back with my new roof. So let's put this together. As always, I recommend, this is just an old polystyrene tray I've got. Get a tray to put all the pen parts in. If you leave them on the side, you'll knock them off and lose them, and well, I probably don't need to explain any further, but that's an ideal thing. Anything like that, you can put all the parts in together and make sure you assemble it correctly, and you've got all the right bits and you haven't got to go hunting around your workshop for them. Right, I have got in here two blank end arbors that I fitted some acetal rod to, and I'm going to use this. I've never ever used a pen press in my life, and I don't intend to start now. So I'm just going to press the parts together. It's entirely up to you in which order you do it. The nib section that I've got here is actually in two parts, and the nib, you will see me do that, will actually unscrew and come into two parts like so. I'm going to do that part first. I'm not sure whether the camera will quite pick up if I do that and get it to focus on my hand. Hopefully you can see at the end there's a little indent, and there is in the other part as well, to help guide the part into the brass tube. Right, let's push it in. So I'll hold my hand up here again to focus it, and there hopefully you will see that's the nib section done. I'm not going to screw the nib in yet. I'm going to do the other end first and decide which part of the wood we've got showing. Let's screw that back a little bit. Now I'll have to move the tad stock back a tad. Right, in there. I can judge by these blocks when the pen kit is in the middle, and it's actually quite handy for that. There we go, that's in there. Let's try and refocus the camera again. There we go. Right, what we're ready to do now is to assemble the rest of the kit. There is a spring that comes with the kit. It goes, it's a, hang on, I'll try and hold it up to show you. It's not very easy. It's a spring. It's wider at the bottom than the top. The wide part goes down this end of the pen, so we can drop that down there. I'll take the cap off the Schmidt refill, pop that down there. I will then pop the nib section in, and the spring holds the refill at the correct distance and pushes the nib out, and we can then fit with my grubby fingers the cap onto the end like so. How can you tell you've got one of the new ones with a twist cap instead of a push cap? If you look at the end, it's got a thread on the end. So quite simply, you can unthread from that end and thread on that end like so, and we just think that actually that's a bit nicer. There we go. One finished Rollester pen kit with the new twist fitting. As I said before, the size of the tube is exactly the same, the bushings are exactly the same. You haven't got to buy new ones. We don't want you wasting your money on that, but we just think the new twist cap is just, it really just feels a bit nicer quality, to be honest. And it just creates a slightly better seal for the ink refill as well. So there we are. That is the Rollester rollerball pen kit, finished in Costa Rican teak. I'm quite happy with that. We'll go and take a still. Thanks very much for watching. My apologies it's been so long, but I'm doing this video in February 2024, and 2024 is looking like quite an exciting year. We've got lots and lots of new stuff coming in. Some of it's on boats already on its way, and others we've got planned throughout the year. So we'll see you again soon, hopefully. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye bye for now.